The creator of Countdown wants to set up a One Chicago crossover for Season 2. Debuting on Prime Video this past June, with Jensen Ackles in the lead role, the 10-episode action drama kicks off as a Department of Homeland Security officer is killed, and an investigation is launched. The series takes plenty of turns from there, with the fate of Countdown Season 2 unknown. Not only is Countdown important since it was created by Derek Haas, but it also marks Ackles' first major TV role since the conclusion of Supernatural in 2020. It is the first program that Haas has produced since leaving One Chicago, the NBC procedural series that he co-founded in 2012. Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med are among them. In comments to TV Insider, Haas shared that he got to revisit another show he co-created. The prolific television producer revealed that, while filming Countdown in Budapest, he got to reconnect with the cast of FBI International, which is connected to the One Chicago universe. Now, the cool thing that I got to do is when we did the Europe scenes for Countdown, we shot in Budapest, and I got to go hang out with all the international people. I knew him really well from Chicago PD, so we got to have I got to have a little bit of closure before that shut down, but I don't know why. You never know these things. It's like the powers that be make these decisions. I love the show, too. I thought it was really fun and cool. Haas then talks about bringing One Chicago alum Jesse Lee Soffer in to join the Countdown cast, drawing on his history with procedurals, and using One Chicago as an example of how one new actor could potentially alter the dynamic of an entire series. Believe me, that's crossed my mind. I don't know that we can get him, but that would be really fun. I guess he was an Army Ranger also, and it's like maybe he and Meacham Ackles were in the same unit. It was like a Halstead-Meacham reunion. That sounds awesome. Crossover. I learned that doing the Chicago shows. Anytime you bring in somebody new, you get a whole new dynamic shift in the traits of the group. I always loved that on Chicago Fire. I think about Stella Kidd on that show. She came in Season 3, now she's the star, front of the poster of that show. So it just feels like we've got worlds that we could still explore on this one. So fingers crossed. What Soffer's addition would mean for Countdown. If it's the case that Soffer did end up on Countdown, it might be easier to have the actor play a new character because of the continuity issues and potential legal hurdles of bringing in a protagonist from another series. But it would be meaningful to have Soffer play Jay Halstead again, largely because of Halstead's controversial One Chicago departure. Fans felt that Halstead was too hastily written off, damaging the character and ruining a fan-favorite couple in the process. But even if Soffer managed to pop up as his character from FBI International, that would also be significant since the cancellation of the FBI spin-offs has also proved controversial. Our take on what's next for Countdown. Before any reunions happen, a second season would have to be renewed. The show got off to a strong start, making Nielsen's top 10 list. But as Haas himself recently clarified in interviews, there is no word yet on the status of a renewal. Countdown has to address its massive cliffhanger as well. After that, especially if the action drama runs for multiple seasons, Haas will likely have plenty of opportunity to lean more into his One Chicago connections. When the creator of Countdown dropped the bombshell that they're dreaming of a One Chicago crossover for Season 2, it set off a frenzy among fans who love nothing more than the idea of interconnected universes, and suddenly the conversation wasn't just about a ticking clock and edge-of-your-seat suspense anymore. It was about whether the firehouse, the hospital, and the precinct could collide with this brand new thriller in a way that felt both organic and spectacular. And if you think about it, the possibilities are endless, because Countdown, with its pulse-pounding premise of ordinary people facing extraordinary life-or-death situations under the relentless pressure of time, already has the DNA to seamlessly merge with the heart-stopping emergencies that define Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med. And the thought of a crossover isn't just fan service, it's a narrative goldmine waiting to be tapped. Imagine, for instance, Firehouse 51 racing against the clock to save a bus, full of civilians while the Countdown app ticks ominously on every passenger's phone, and Chief Bowden, always steady in the storm, has to coordinate not only with his own crew but also with Detective Voight, whose methods may clash with the sense of urgency and ethical boundaries that Countdown's world thrives on. And then there's Dr. Halstead or Crockett Marcel in Med trying desperately to outsmart fate itself by battling medical emergencies tied to the app's mysterious predictions. And in one sweeping storyline, you'd have the grit of police drama, the heroism of firefighters, and the compassion of doctors all colliding with the existential terror that Countdown brings to the table. And fans can already picture it. Stella Kidd barking orders as flames roar in the background, Kevin Atwater piecing together a digital trail to track down whoever's behind the app, April Sexton or Sharon Goodwin debating the morality of tampering with fate when patients show up with death countdowns. And all the while the clock is ticking louder than ever, giving the crossover not just a sense of urgency but a thematic weight that could elevate both franchises. And the beauty of this idea lies in its synergy. One Chicago has always thrived on crossovers because its shows share a common heartbeat of resilience, loyalty, and sacrifice, and Countdown adds a philosophical edge to that heartbeat by asking if our destinies are pre-written or if human connection and bravery can rewrite them. So, when the creator says they want this mashup, they're not just throwing out a flashy headline. They're articulating a creative vision where two television worlds don't just collide for ratings. They merge to tell a bigger story about life, death, and the choices made in between, and you can practically imagine the NBC promo already. 3 cities, 1 ticking clock, countless lives on the line, with flashes of Kidd dragging someone from the wreckage, Jay Halstead and Haley Upton chasing a shadowy figure through Chicago's alleys, Dr. Choi pounding on a patient's chest in Med's Trauma Bay, and then the eerie glow of the Countdown app ticking down to 0, leaving viewers breathless, because the crossover would be bigger than a gimmick. It would be an event, a television milestone that celebrates the legacy of One Chicago while giving Countdown the kind of platform that instantly transforms it into must-watch television. And in a landscape where audiences crave both novelty and nostalgia, what could be more thrilling than the familiar heroes of Chicago facing the unfamiliar, unrelenting specter of time itself, proving once again that when the city's finest are pushed to their limits, they always rise together, no matter how impossible the odds. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe my sister wives to our channel and stay with TS.